All right. $20. 10. 5. 4. 3. 2.
Good morning, friends. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. I'm Anita Foster, your host of Business Connections with Anita. And I have my co-host in the house today, Christian Meyer.
Morning.
With roughriders.org. Thank you for being here this morning.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, looks like we got a few people joining us. Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for joining us. Already starting
Yeah,
with
tuning in from the top of the show.
Yeah,
That's the way we like it.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to call in and join our conversation, I have another set of those Carson
Comedy Club.
Comedy Club tickets I'd like to give away. So feel free to call in at 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. You can also text us. So if you're a little shy and don't want to be heard on the radio, we understand. So 775-237-2266. You can text us and tell us a funny story. Tell us what's going on in your area of the world. What's the weather like? Are you in your bikini? Or you got your winter coat on? We want to hear from you. So just let us know what's going on in your world. And we can't thank our listeners enough, Christian.
Oh, definitely. We're growing like a weed.
Yes, we are. We've had over 800 likes on our Business Connections with Anita page since last week.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
There you have it. It's exploding. I just have a few events here I want to mention. We've been talking about Jake Jimrick. He's on the list in Minnesota and Indiana for a kidney donor. And I just mentioned to him on Facebook, I'm not going to stop until we find a kidney. So he gave me the thumbs up, and we're still reaching out, trying to find a donor. If you're interested in helping him in any way, you can reach out at anita@americanmatters.us. And I think this coming up Tuesday, the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah,
coming up already.
September's already around the corner.
I know, right? I just whizzed right by. The seniors are going to have, there's going to be a senior event out here. It's their 24th annual Senior Fest. It's right here at Reno Town Mall, so there's plenty of room, things to eat. Restrooms, the important things.
Yeah. Over 60 businesses.
Yes, and they're going to be connecting our seniors with resources. So
that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, it is, especially with the housing the way it is and the things that are going on in our area. Folks need some help.
Yeah. Reno's a great senior town.
Yes,
there's lots of resources, lots of things for seniors to do, and so this is just another thing that will help them make connections and. Yeah, that's what we're all about.
The lifestyle,
exactly.
Keep their independence, and that's one of the things I want to bring up later in our broadcast. Don't let me forget about the independence part.
All right.
But we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about brick and mortar versus food trucks and versus online stores. Because I thought, those kind of are the, there's some differences, but then there's some similarities.
Exactly.
So what's going on in the transport world? I know you had I want you to tell people about what you go through on a transport, like yesterday.
I've had a crazy couple last days. Yeah, so Monday, 10-hour drive back from Southern California, brought back a Chihuahua mom with her 3 pups tiny, just adorable, super sweet. And then another dog that we think is maybe a Chihuahua Dachshund mix named Poppy, and was helping our friend Heather over at Dublin's Dream Dog Rescue with that transport. And those dogs will be available for adoption here shortly. But yeah, it's a 10-hour drive. It's a lot of time on the road. Obviously, stopping to make sure that they've got water and can go to the bathroom and all of that. And then yesterday was back on the road again, headed out to Battle Mountain to pick up a dog to bring back to the Humane Society Truckee Tahoe. And on the road back out in the middle of the desert, smack dab between Lovelock and Fernley, driving along, and my car basically stalls out. Like it doesn't have any gas. And so pull off to the side of the road, and my gas gauge showed that I had well over an eighth of a tank of gas and had no idea what was going on. Long story short, sat in 105-degree weather on the side of the road for about 3.5 hours before I was able to get some help. Just needed a couple gallons of gas. Roadside assistance wanted to try and commit literal highway robbery. Wanted to charge me $260 just for a couple gallons of gas. And yeah, finally made it back.
I think it's something about Lovelock because I was on my way to Elko for a job, and I had to go spend the night over there and stuff. And Mario and I, it was February, it was like below zero, 20 degrees or something crazy. And my car decided at the little, there's like a gas station, like probably the only one there. Well, that's where we broke down.
Well, it's at least
And
a
it was
convenient place to
right,
break down.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was one of them things.
Yeah.
And
Well,
out there in the heat, you got to keep hydrated and stuff.
I was going to say, if I had my choice between below freezing and 105-degree heat,
I'll take the 105.
Oh, if you would have asked me yesterday, I would have taken the below freezing.
Well, once it gets below zero, it all feels the same, I can tell you.
Right.
Being from the Midwest and up by Lake Michigan, you kind of get that lake effect with the below zeros. Christian, it's already time for our first break.
Yeah.
We want our listeners to know that our topic today is brick and mortar versus food trucks and online stores. And we got stuff on afdesigns.online. We started branding business connections with Anita, so you can get your hoodie and all kinds of fun stuff on there. Gonna be adding stuff, and we'll be right back after these messages. Christian, stay with us, folks.
So when we come back, if I can get just a couple of the touch points, and then we can go into the, if you don't mind.
No, that's good. I figured we didn't, I kind of ran out of time. But
Hey, that's okay.
I know that we don't have a guest, so
Right.
we can run out the time, you know what I mean? Be ourselves.
Our pace.
Exactly. Why rush through it? I got some time. Plus, it's the only part of my week I really love doing, so. I had somebody from Washoe County Golf Course call me and said that he has an issue that we might be interested in.
Interesting.
So I'm going to call him after I get off air and
Yeah. Well, I'm curious what that issue is.
huh?
I'm curious what that issue is.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know.
Welcome back, radio friends. This is Business Connections with Anita on another beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm your co-host, Christian Meyer, and we've got some fun topics we're going to be talking about today, namely brick and mortar restaurants versus food trucks versus online shopping. And we're also giving away those Carson Comedy Club tickets. So, if you want to call in, weigh in on the topic, feel free, 844-790-8255. And we'll give those tickets away to the first person who calls in.
Yeah,
How's
and
that
if no
sound?
one calls in, then we'll ask that you share this broadcast,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there, like we did for CJ.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you had a couple more things about Rough Riders we needed to mention. You did really good at your trivia night.
Yeah, we had our Noble Pie Pinion Bottle Company trivia night on Thursday, and it was the best turnout we've had so far. It was fantastic, had a bunch of people. If those listening to the show were one of those that came out, we truly thank you, and we are going to continue doing it well into the fall. So Noble
awesome.
Pie let us know that they're adding space heaters for the patio area, and so that way, even when it cools off a little bit, we'll be able to still have a good time and be comfortable at the same time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. That toll-free number again, folks. We want to hear from you. 844-790-8255. Want to get into our topic, Kristen?
Yeah,
Are
let's
you ready
do it.
to do it? What are some pros and cons of the mobile food business?
Well, the mobile food business, it's funny, a decade ago, you think food truck, you think, sort of last case scenario, and the term roach coach pops up.
Yes.
And then over the last decade, it's become gourmet food trucks, and each has their own little unique theme, and it's really been sort of a neat enterprising solution to opening a traditional brick and mortar type restaurant. And I know restaurants tend to complain that the food trucks may be driving them out of business, but the fact of the matter is that restaurants, the industry on a whole, has sort of a high failure rate. I mean, most recent numbers basically show that most businesses, 59% of those fail within the first 3 years. And the first year being the highest.
That's a lot of word of mouth, too. I think a restaurant, where we've been talking about reviews and stuff, that can really hurt a restaurant.
It can, and a lot of its location as well.
Yes.
A restaurant could start out in a area that's bouncing and big, and then all of a sudden
The anchor store moves out.
exactly, and you don't know. Now you're
and
stuck
your draw's not,
there. Yeah. So mobile food trucks have been this really sort of nice resurgence in dipping the toe into the restaurant business. Low cost of getting in. Average food truck starts around $85,000. That's for the truck and the equipment and the permits and everything that you need. And it has high revenues.
Right.
Low overhead. You don't have a ton of employees that you have to pay. Typically, it's an owner-operator type situation. Again, like I said, fewer permits and operational expenses.
A lot more freedom. I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of this kind of turning with the people wanting not the traditional corporate job. They want to go into where their family's more important and be with their family. And I like to see that, actually.
Yeah,
People spending more time with their family and making work around their life.
exactly.
It doesn't have to be your life, I feel.
Yeah. And a lot of times, food trucks are family businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be husbands and wives. It'll be, parents and kids. It's something that families can do together as a small business, can build it to a point where it gets very popular. And every once in a while, a food truck will make that transition into a brick and mortar type restaurant, which is exciting,
And some brick and mortars go the other way.
Go the food truck route. Yeah. I know a number of barbecue joints that do that, and it's a great idea. It opens them up to catering, to weddings, and the biggest thing for food truck owners is making that information available, because obviously the only way you're going to thrive is letting people know where you're going to be at, when you're going to be there.
We were discussing before we came on air, and I told Christian, I go, I don't really eat at food trucks. Concession stand when you're at a ball game or something like that, yes. But I don't like, there's so-and-so's food truck, I got to pull over. I mean, before I see the food truck, I'm already past it.
Yeah.
So we were kind of discussing, maybe it's more foot traffic depending on the area, or they do a little social media advertising to let you know where they're going to be, right?
Exactly. And a lot of food trucks will be at certain places on certain days. So, on Monday, they're always at location A. On Tuesday, always location B. So that way people can frequent where they're going to be at. The other fun thing about food trucks is the menu selections. You're always, they're able to play with ideas and food fusions and things that, make it interesting where, maybe a traditional brick and mortar type restaurant can't do that because they're producing on more of a large, almost assembly line scale as opposed to a per person type transaction. So I've had some great weird food combinations that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
It's like going to the food court at the mall, I guess.
Yeah.
You can get what you want and little this, little that.
And I know they do Food Truck Fridays out at Idlewild Park. I don't know if it's still going on, but typically, spring through fall. And like you said, food court at the mall, you have your choice. So if, you're with a group of people and instead of all trying to decide on one restaurant, now all of a sudden
everybody's
you can,
happy.
Yeah. One person can go to one food truck, somebody can go to the other, and everybody can get what they want.
Another great thing about food trucks that just came to my mind when I had met Heather for the first time over there at Dublin's Dream, she had done some events where they used food trucks instead of catering and trying to get all this in there, because the food trucks take care of all their permits for being there for the day, and it allows people to enjoy the event.
Yeah, and it's easy setup. With catering, they have to have tables, chairs, trays, heat sources, electrical sources, all of that. Food truck, it's all in one. So it's definitely convenient.
Yeah, definitely. What else can let's see. So that is the pros of owning. What can be the downside of owning?
Well,
I'm sure winter time is a downside.
Exactly. Food trucks tend to be seasonal. In an area like Reno, if we get heavy snowfall, that's going to affect your business. People aren't going to come out to you.
It's not usually until late fall, which is nice, like right around Thanksgiving or after. January, February, I think here is the hardest months in business anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it all comes to a screeching halt.
Well, and when the weather's, even if when it rains, people don't want to leave their house. They forget snow or cold or anything along those lines. So, a food truck owner definitely needs to know when their busy parts are, when their slow parts are, and account for that.
And where you can park it and where you can't.
Exactly.
And suppose that could be a con,
Well, storage space in general.
Yeah.
It's not only where you park it, but you've got supplies, you've got, food. A lot of times there's prep that goes into it. And so I know a number of food trucks will rent out storage spaces outside storage spaces, or there's kitchens, like collective kitchens, that they can go in and do all of their prep. And but again, without having a built-in, storage space and kitchen, that could be a potential con to owning a food truck.
Right. And probably maintenance is important.
Absolutely.
You have that in a brick and mortar too, but a lot of times the landlord takes care of that.
Right.
Sometimes on some things.
Yeah. Yeah. And, on a brick and mortar, you don't have to worry about your engine giving out.
Right. Or it's flat tire.
Exactly.
Or these things that come up.
Yeah. We mentioned the social media aspect of it. Unless your clients know where you're going to be at, that can be really tough for a food truck business.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just show up and expect people to walk up unless you're at an event where there are already a lot of people.
Right.
If you're going to a business site, you have to get permission. It's not, whether it's permits or just official permission, you can't just pull up and expect people will walk up.
It's like opening your doors when you're a new business, when you're really green, and you think the people are just going to come flooding through your door, and then you sadly realize at the end of the first day that that's not how it works.
Right. Well, and a lot of that goes back to what we were talking about a couple episodes back with reviews and getting that word of mouth out there, because somebody who really enjoys your business will tell others, but if they have no way of finding you, then
they
what are
don't
you gonna
know
do?
about you. And they should make like a group on Facebook just for food trucks in the area. Is there one?
There actually is one. There's a Reno Facebook food truck group that people can go on, but I noticed that maybe half of the food trucks that exist out there are actually part of that group or part of a aggregator online. Others I see out there, I've never heard of them, but they're obviously here.
Right.
So
they're like the surprise food trucks.
Yeah.
You get out there and you learn about them and stuff. It's already time after this second segment here already. I can't believe how fast this show goes.
Time sure flies.
Yeah, and we're going to follow up with some more interesting things about food trucks when we come back. And you can see more about me at afdesigns.online, and be sure to check out Christian's website, roughriders.org. Folks, stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Okay, so all I got is this. Here he comes. How dare you?
You need to bring your mic a little closer.
Okay, well, I tried to yank it over.
It's down. Yeah, it was down. And there.
Okay.
How dare I?
Yeah, how dare you leave our family? It's alright.
She's going to guilt you to the very end. I know.
The blue eyes. I'll miss you. I will. I don't know how we're going to survive. Yeah, I know. Hello? Okay. Okay, my video's not working. Thank you.
Welcome back, radio friends. This is Business Connections with Anita. I'm your co-host, Christian Meyer. We are halfway through the show. If you missed broadcast from the top, feel free to check us out wherever you get your podcast. Google, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, and then americamatters.us as well. So lots of places where you can take us in.
That's perfect. Yeah, we're all over the place. And our views are going up on our YouTube and our subscribers, so we thank those folks out there. We appreciate it. And what these things do for us is it helps us bring on more guests. And, possible sponsorship. We are looking for sponsorship, so...
Yeah, guest-wise, we're, booked through middle of October at this point?
Well, I can't... No, I think I'm still working on October.
Okay.
I think I am. I've had a few people worldwide reach out to me, and I'm not sure where I'm at with that, about having them call in. One is an artist.
Okay.
And so we kind of been communicating with these blow-ups of likes that we have, and we want to welcome those folks, of course.
Most definitely.
And they love small business, from what they're telling me. So that's what we're here to talk about. When we don't have a guest, we bring up other topics, and we want you to join in.
Yeah, and the only reason we don't have a guest is because of a reschedule.
And that's it. And we came up with something.
Exactly, yeah. So we've been talking food trucks versus brick and mortar. We're getting to online stores. And actually there is sort of a nice little crossover between those two that we're going to start talking about here. We're still giving away those comedy club tickets, so the first person to call in, weigh in on the topic, or just entertain us at 844-790-8255 will get those tickets. So, Anita, what's that crossover that we're talking about?
Well, now I'm seeing, like Walmart does it. Now I just seen Rayleigh's jump on board with it. We have DoorDash, we have Uber Eats, we have all these different ways of getting food, or anything really. Walmart doesn't have just food, but you can order online and then they'll bring it to you.
Yeah, it's all about convenience these days. So, restaurants are getting into the online order game without having to set up their own fleets, their own delivery drivers through those apps that you mentioned: Postmates, Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart when it comes to groceries, which is really nice because it creates jobs.
Yes.
Gives people who want to drive and do the delivery
another flexible
position,
mm-hmm.
something that will allow them to spend more time with their family, mm-hmm. and if they do it right, they can earn a living from it. You know?
And now my thing on this, Christian, is think about the independence that allows a senior to have.
Yeah,
they can't drive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to rely on so-and-so to come and give them a ride so they can go to the store. And maybe they've been without milk for a day or eggs for a day or something.
Exactly.
And they don't want to bother people. That's how seniors sometimes think. Oh, I don't want to bother them. They're busy. Mm-hmm. And then they put themselves off, where now they don't have to. They can call I'm sure they have a way to call in and order your groceries. I don't know. I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
But I bet you could if it's available online, or because some seniors don't have computers.
Right, or smartphones for that matter.
Or smartphones, but I see that helping with their independence.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is that all of these apps make it very easy to follow. So if a senior does have a smartphone, it's not overly complicated. They can get their order in.
I think I see more seniors than I do millennials on the phone nowadays. It's funny.
Yeah.
You go out to dinner and both the man and the wife are on their phones.
Yeah.
That's how we communicate at dinner now. I'm like, wait, what happened to the days when you set the phone aside, the TV went off,
right,
and you had an actual communication to learn what's going on in your family?
Well, it's funny when the girlfriend and I go out to dinner. We try to be as present as possible and mm-hmm. Put the phones away. But there's times we'll go out to lunch, and we're both very busy.
It's in the middle of your business day. Yeah.
Exactly, and so that's a little bit different. So we'll be on our phones and put them down and pick them up and put them down. But when it comes to dinner and it's a night out, we try to be as present as possible. But yeah, when it comes to food, convenience is everything now. And, where you could only order pizza or Chinese food online or call it up to have it delivered. Now you can get everything. McDonald's and all the fast food
Taco
places.
Bell is offering delivery, I know.
Taco Bell. And now your favorite restaurants. And again, they don't have to set up their own fleet. They've got a service that'll do it for them. I was thinking about it the other day, and the nice thing with a lot of these is when you sign up, they'll give you a promo. Or if you do a little digging, I think I signed up for Postmates, and they had up to $50 in free delivery charges.
Wow.
Which is great.
Yeah.
A delivery charge will cost you $5, $6, $7. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, $5, $6, $7, that's kind of expensive. But at the same time, it's
by the
convenience.
time you get gas,
Exactly.
and then you deal with all the traffic to get there, and it's 45 minutes,
right,
sometimes one way to get to a grocery store because something happens on the road. We're getting I noticed on the way here this morning, I thought I was in LA for a minute. The smog is just hanging in the valley and really affecting folks out there with the heat and everything.
Yeah.
We have a lot of events going on. Rib cook-off.
Yeah.
Balloon races are coming up.
Bunch of stuff coming around.
Air
the corner.
races.
Air races, street vibrations.
Wonder if there'll be any food trucks there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be.
So we'll have to check some of those out while we're out at these events. Probably not so much the rib cook-off, but they have some great entertainment and stuff. We want to mention that down there. So if you get a chance to go down there and check out those ribs, you got to do it.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things of the year.
But speaking about having your groceries sent to you, and I had someone post, a friend of mine, I saw her post, and she said it was the first time that she had used the app
Instacart?
to get her food or whatever from Walmart, and she just drives up and then they load it up for you and everything.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm gonna have to try it.
The only thing for me on that is if I'm picking out like fruits or vegetables, I'm sort of picky about the ones that I grab as opposed to, in these cases, somebody goes through, they grab them for you, and, it might not be the best bunch of bananas or whatever it might be. So, if I'm going to use Instacart, it'll probably be more for the non-perishables.
I got a comment here from Kathleen Hanley from Just in Time Text. She's watching
great.
our show this morning. She says she uses her smartphone to order her mom's groceries at Walmart and pay her from her account via phone. So, and pay a delivery boy from Walmart, and they take it to her home. It's so easy. So, see, she can care for her mom and everything, and that's awesome.
Right. Well, the nice thing is, as fast food type places get to the point where, they're putting up kiosks, and that means less employees that they're hiring. These delivery services, anything that has that sort of Uber model where, people are paid to provide these services, it's changing. So the jobs are still out there. They're just different from what they were 10 years ago.
We're coming into a lot of different forms of how things used to be.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of exciting to be in this time where you see all these transition and things going on. How we do business.
Yeah.
And
we're transitioning here into our online shopping talk, but you've got Amazon, who is they're playing with the idea of having drones deliver packages. They're little cooler boxes that'll drive up and deliver a package. They have a service where their delivery drivers, who again, just like Uber, you can be an independent Amazon delivery driver. They'll go up and if you've got like a keypad on your door or on your garage, you can authorize them to just leave the package right inside your door. So you don't have to worry about people coming up and stealing them. Unfortunately, with Amazon as big as it is, that's a very prevalent problem.
And they should give free security cameras with every package. Or just the first package that you order or something. I had a package I think it was last Christmas. Just some nail supplies and stuff coming. But someone ripped it apart because the man left it on my doorstep at an apartment complex. Why couldn't you walk around the building and put it at least on my patio?
Right.
Or give it to the neighbor that's always home?
Well, and
But
Amazon is great because if something like that happens, they're usually willing to replace it and take care of things. And I'm sure their insurance claims are through the roof. But at the same time, that's the cost of doing business.
now, do you feel, Christian, that Amazon has put some of the smaller retail shops out of business?
I think it's forced them to evolve. I
Mm-hmm.
think small retail shops are now niche and specialty businesses as opposed to general
Having it
stores.
all. Mm.
Exactly. And so, there's certain things you can get out there in local areas that you can't get anywhere else. But even those businesses, which we'll talk about here soon, they're expanding to online, making their goods
Mm-hmm.
available through places like Etsy or eBay or even Amazon, and selling it themselves as opposed through a giant warehouse. So, business is evolving. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think technology is causing businesses to crash, except for the businesses that refuse to change.
Yeah, and some of them are just fear. I know some. I know of a store here in Reno that has nothing to do with technology, and it really cracks me up because it's not all a bad thing, and
No,
it's not that scary. It's only scary when it crashes.
exactly, exactly.
But if you have everything backed up, you can kind of come back almost full power, and it isn't that big a deal. Folks, we got to take our next break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, folks. This is Business Connections with Anita. We are already to the last break of the show. Time flies, but we always have a good time when we do it. As always, we like to hear from you, whether you are commenting on our Facebook, if you're texting in at 775-237-2266, or you can always call us and talk to us directly at 844-790-8255.
Yes, I have a few statistics here.
All right.
For the brick and mortar store portion of our broadcast today. Total retail sales rose from 3375 billion in 2016 to 3496 billion in 2017. That was a 3.6 increase. Okay, but then the e-commerce, they went from 390 billion in 2016 to 453 billion in 2017, which is a 16% increase. The brick and mortar retail sales, they were a little low at 2985 billion in 2016 and 3043 billion in 2017.
But the good news is they're still increasing.
They're still increasing. I think they just have to get a little more creative on how they reach people. I know that, like, a lot of your clothing stores, like Maurice's, Charlotte Russe, a lot of those places, they use Instagram. Because they put outfits together and then they shoot the picture of it and then they link them to their online store, which is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So not only now you have two stores you're running, basically. You have the brick and mortar and the online store, which is open 24/7, which is nice.
Right. But it's the way the business is evolving, and, for stores that refuse to, see that evolution, it could spell trouble. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, but, adapting and going to where your customers are is the biggest thing. You had mentioned clothing stores. Brick and mortar clothing stores are still huge for just the factor that you want to be able to see it, feel it, try it on, make sure it fits. But even the online side, they're starting to get wise to that. Amazon just rolled out Amazon Prime Wardrobe, where you pick out your clothes, they send it to you, you keep what you want, you send back the rest, and they only charge you for what you keep. You've got Warby Parker, who's an independent eyeglass manufacturer. Same thing. You pick out 5 frames that you want, they send them to you, you keep what you want, send back the rest. And then there's even businesses online like Stitch Fix, which are, it's almost completely hands-off. They're a clothing store. You tell them the style that you like. They curate everything, so you don't even pick out the clothes. They send it to you. If you like it, you keep it. So it's evolving, but brick and mortar, as I mentioned earlier, great for specialty and niche and things that we're not seeing online yet.
Yeah. I just want to go over a few more. Like 67% of millennials prefer to shop online. That's not really surprising.
No, not at all.
It's in their generation. They were born with a phone in their hand, I think. Most of them.
Not so much millennials. I'm what's considered a elder millennial.
I'm
older.
I'm an older baby boomer.
There you go.
No, I'm one of the youngest baby boomers. Actually, my year was the last of the baby boomers.
Okay.
So, which is 41% prefer online shopping.
Which is still big.
Which is still big. 56% is the Gen Xers prefer to shop online, and only 28% of seniors prefer shopping online. I think that's because of the scammer risk factor. I think a few seniors have gotten caught up in that, and they're a little gun shy of that now.
Yeah. I've known non-seniors who get caught up in it.
Right.
Scammers get smarter. They get scarier. There's ones that threaten you with, being arrested and having, money taken out of your paycheck. And
you don't want to know how to piss off a scammer? Just ask them, "Hi, are you a scammer?"
Right.
Then they get all pissed off and they start flying words at you and all kinds of stuff. And, that's a sure way to know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, selling things online. I think I mentioned a couple episodes back. We're working on selling my girlfriend's dad's truck online. Have it posted on Craigslist, Let Go, Facebook Marketplace, and you get the people who come out of the woodwork who are trying to take advantage. They'll. I had one where. They tried to log in through one of my accounts, asked me to send them the Google authorization code that was texted to me. And, you got to be wise to that. Never give away personal codes.
Yeah, no codes, no social security numbers.
Never.
As you were talking, another business that's kind of brick and mortar and online is real estate agents.
Yeah.
There's so many things, you start thinking about it and you're like, oh, wow, yeah. They do most of their office work in one place. They online it, and then they got to go meet the people and do all that.
Well, and, the physical agents, the ones that are doing well, again, are adapting to technology. They don't just have a website. They are using Instagram. They're using Facebook. There's some technologies out there that will map a home in 3D. They can create 3D walkthroughs.
Hey, you know what I want? I want one of those programs that, I think houses using it now, where you can go into the home and let's say I want this chair in the corner of my home, and it actually takes your home and puts that chair in it.
Yeah, it's augmented reality.
What is it, augmented?
Yep, or AR.
Okay.
Yep. And the funny thing is, years and years ago, when augmented reality first became a thing, I started building an app that did exactly that. You could place an object in your home to see what it would look like. And now the big manufacturers are using that. IKEA is one that you can go in and just place it there in your home and be like, okay, that looks great. Or it doesn't quite fit the decor. Makes life that much easier.
Yeah, you already know what you want before you go to the store to order it, or however you do it.
Going back to real estate agents, there are a couple sites out there like Redfin or Purple Door that are almost taking the real estate agent out of it, which I know is disrupting things. Everything's listed online. They have people who are just customer service people who will show you a house if you want to see a house. They transact all of the paperwork online, and it takes that one-to-one connection out of it. And so that's one where, especially in a big decision
right,
for
a
home buying,
I don't know.
I think having a real estate, at least at this point in time, is still a better option.
I do too, because of this. When Mario and I had to move earlier this year, there was a home listed on Craigslist. You have to be, we all know we have to be careful on Craigslist. They had this house around the corner for rent. So Mario and I, we went and checked it out. And the guy had taken the pictures of that home off of Zillow. And then he created an ad on Craigslist. It was a scammer.
Yep.
So you have to be really careful if the application doesn't look, because the application was more of a questionnaire. And then when we talked to the man in person on the phone, then we were like,
Right.
You're not getting a dime. You're not getting any information. You have to be really careful what you're offering to people in this day and age. It's online, and watch your back when you're in a brick and mortar.
Well, and the other thing online is that it's so easy to create a website. It's so easy to create something that looks official, that may not be official. So, when you're transacting online, you're doing anything online, and you're giving payment information, make sure it is a secure connection.
Yes.
128-bit encrypted connection, that they've got some sort of guarantee, because, again, it's easy enough to be taken advantage of if you don't know any better.
Well, shoot, this show went real quick. We had all this information, and hope folks learned a little bit about the food truck industry and I saw this down here. When you go and you perform your little online shopping at home and then you go to the store, it's called showrooming.
Okay.
That's what you're doing. So that's the term of the day, showrooming. But we hope to see folks out at the Rib Cook-Off and at when's your next trivia event?
Some point in next September. So it's either going to, or not next September, this September. It'll either be the second Thursday or the fourth Thursday.
Okay.
More than likely the fourth Thursday. I'm just recovering from those transports I talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
So.
And if you'd like to help with donations, he would really appreciate that for his transport. And Business Connections with Anita is honored to be behind you all the way.
We always
Christian.
appreciate it.
You can find his link at roughriders.org, which is RUFF for those people out there.
Yep.
Riders.org.
We're not the motorcycle gang.
No, but we got some dogs out there that are needing adopted.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're going to be coming up with an event down there in Carson City for Willow Bill on October 12th. Deer and Doggy Days, I believe. And we're going to have that from 10 to 2, so you guys folks can look forward to what we're going to do on that day.
Yeah, we'll try and get some food trucks out there. And
That'd be good.
again, help support those local business owners as well.
Yes, and get some dogs adopted. That's the goal. And nobody called in, so we'll be giving those tickets away for whoever shares our broadcast the most over the next week, and we'll announce that on air next week. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Awesome. Christian, it's always a pleasure being on the air with you.
Yeah, it's
A blast.
definitely the highlight of my week.
Yes, mine too. Folks, we love you so much out there. Thank you for being a part of our week, and we will see you next week. You can check out afdesigns.online. If you missed any part of this broadcast, you can go to americamatters.us under the podcast tab. We'll see you next week.